A cheap medium format camera is something that I'd started to believe didn't exist. However, I think I might have found the answer. And this is it, the Lomo Lubitel 166B, which is an old Russian TLR camera. So TLR, or Twin Lens Reflex camera, if you don't know, is a camera where this is the lens that takes the image, and then this is the lens that you'll look through using the waist level viewfinder, which pops up like this. And then you rotate one of these, and as you rotate one, it also rotates the other one because they're geared. And this is how you focus the camera, and then all of your manual controls are along the outside here. So you've got your aperture here, which goes from 4.5 to 22, and then you've got your shutter speed as well, which goes from 1/15 of a second to 1/250th. And then on the other side, you've got a port here for a remote shutter release. You've got the lever to cock the shutter, and then the shutter itself. So the lens is a fixed focal length of 75mm, which is the equivalent to 41mm on a 35mm camera. So to use the camera, you open up the waist level viewfinder, use that to compose your image looking down here. There's also a little magnifying glass on there as well. Now you do have to take into account the parallax issue because you're looking through this lens, which obviously is slightly higher than that. And then all you do is, as I just showed, cock the shutter and release, and then you use this knob on the side to advance your film. Make sure you do that, otherwise you'll end up shooting a double exposure by shooting shooting two images over the same bit of film twice. Now, after searching for these for quite a while on eBay, this one here cost me £41 including delivery, and honestly I don't think you can get any other medium format camera for that price. Now the listing said that it was in working condition and everything seemed okay on it, so I popped a roll of Portra 400 in there. I downloaded a free light meter app for my phone because obviously you need that to be able to work out your exposure, and I took this out with me to Ladybar Reservoir, and then after bad weather coming in and me having to abandon that, I called into Sheffield City Centre on my way home to try it out. So there you go. Apologies that there wasn't that much behind the scenes footage, but hopefully there was enough there for you to get an idea of what it's like to shoot with the Lubitel and what conditions I was shooting in, as well as how you shoot using a light meter. Now, this is my first medium format camera, first time shooting with a medium format camera, and also my first time shooting the Portra 400 film stock that's so popular. Now, because of this, I'm not in the best position to compare, but overall, genuinely, I'm really pleased with this little camera. Now, obviously the images aren't to the same level of quality that you're going to get from something like a Mamiya or a Bronica, but you shouldn't expect that. You're only paying a fraction of the cost, so you're not going to get the same amount of quality, otherwise nobody would buy Mamiya's or Bronica's. Now, in terms of what I liked, I really like the waist level viewfinder. Even though it's not the clearest or easiest to use, and I will mention that again shortly, I really enjoyed it, but I don't know how much of that is the novelty of using a waist level viewfinder because I've never used one before. What I also really love is the fact that everything is manual, and so you know that you're completely in control of the outcome, getting the shot set up, advancing the film and cocking the shutter. It really makes you feel part of the process. You're not just clicking a button like sometimes it can feel with a digital camera. I also love how small and light it is. It really weighs next to nothing. After all, it is just a box. Now, with regards to the images, as you'll have seen, they have got a lot of contrast in them, and they do have a lot of vignetting in there. But I think that actually adds character to the images, and as long as you expect it, you know what's going to be coming. In terms of what I don't like, it is a bit of a pain to load the film initially. And speaking of the film, twice while shooting, I forgot to advance the film, and I actually shot a double and even a treble exposure, as you can see here. I think I was concentrating more on the weather than advancing the film. Now, as I mentioned before, the waist level viewfinder is really not the most user friendly, and I imagine that if you're trying to shoot something that's quite close to you, getting anything close to you sharply in focus is going to be really, really difficult. You'll also have noticed that there were light leaks on some of the images. Now, what I think this is because the back part of the camera isn't made of the strongest plastic. I think that over time it's loosened enough for light to get in between the seals, but again, like with the contrast and the vignetting, for me, this had character to these images. I'm not wanting to shoot the cleanest of images. If I was, I'd be shooting using a digital camera. So overall, I would definitely recommend the Lubitel 166B as a cheap entry into the world of medium format, as long as you get one with realistic expectations of what results it's going to give you. It's cheap, it's small, it's light, it's really fun to use, and as I mentioned, I've never had a camera that made me feel so much like I was part of the process of taking a photograph, controlling every single part of it, from composing it, getting the aperture, the shutter speed and everything, using the waist level viewfinder, cocking the shutter and then releasing it. Now, if you've got a 166B or any of the other Lomo Lubitel cameras, or maybe something like a Rolleiflex or a Holga, something similar, let me know your thoughts on those cameras in the comments. I do think that these cheap cameras have got a lot going for them. And for much more to come from this camera, plus plenty more content around both digital and film photography, please subscribe to the channel, like this video if you have, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.